So I constantly get questions about where crystal meanings come from and why some people interpret crystal meanings in a different way, why you hear this stone does this from one person and why you hear it does this from someone else. First of all, I want to say this is actually a very complex topic, and I'm just going to do my best to try to sum it up for you so you get a general understanding. First of all, the understanding of crystals as having energy and specific powers is as old as humanity itself. Peoples of Africa over 140,000 years ago understood quartz to have some sort of supernatural power, and it has evolved since then. Throughout the limited amount of recorded history we do have, you find crystals and their attributed powers in every culture. A really great example is lapis. Because of lapis's location in the middle of the Eurasian continent and its connection to where it exists on the Silk Road and the abundance to which it can be mined, it ended up in ancient cultures from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, and they all wrote about it. And you can do research to find out what they said. So crystals that have been part of humanity for a long time, common minerals, lapis, quartz, calcites, amethyst, things that are very easily accessible, have been written about for thousands of years. And that knowledge sticks with us and compounds. Now, mainly since the 1800s, more modern mining practices have brought newer minerals to the surface. And the idea of studying them, collecting them, and use them for healing practices has also evolved with that. Me, as an example, as a person who has a natural affinity, felt crystal energy before they knew what they were feeling, worked as a psychic, worked as a healer, used crystals on the body, would wake up with huge swaths of information in my head, would write it down, understanding I was channeling it, and then wrote about it and talked about it to you. That is a lot of how the meanings of crystals come, is you have extremely intuitively developed people who specialize, who are professionals, who understand the dimensional aspect of humanity, reading, writing, and translating. Now, a lot of people will say it's not real, they're making it up. Those are people who are usually kind of young souls, they're fairly one-dimensional, they do not feel things outside themselves, and they would never have no concept that something had an omnipresent energy outside of their small human box. There are so many channeled writings in the world, our religious books, and intuition exists in everything. It exists in plants, it exists from the earth, it exists from the sky, and it comes from within ourselves. And when you understand that language and you work from a place of intuition, you can translate those other dimensional intuitions. And that's how a lot of that works. And that's why you see various meanings change from stone to stone to stone. But at this point, the minerals that are around the longest and people write about the most, they start to develop a very standardized definition of what they do. But there's always room for interpretation. And minerals are so advanced. The energy of minerals goes beyond the human comprehension. Remember, the human brain is not very big. We do not understand a whole lot. We are tiny little things whizzing on a rock in space. I think a lot of the research of what minerals do and the science of proving it is still 300 to 400 years away, if not 1,000. That's why there's not a lot of research on it, because the tools to measure it don't exist. And that's my thought.